So for those of you who don't know, I was a pretty troubled kid growing up. Well, I'm not going to say I was troubled, but I did get into a lot of trouble, especially at school. I was that kid who had a designated seating schedule in the office. I mean, they already knew I was coming. So when I came in, it was like, hey, there's your seat, Mr. Williams. Like, they already knew that I was coming and what I was coming for. I mean, I was just that kid. It was one time in particular where before the tardy bell even rang, you know, like when you first get to school, before that very, very first bell rings, I was already in the office and they was calling home. I mean, it was just like that. I was in second grade. I had a teacher by the name of Miss Turner. Did not like her at all. At all. Didn't like her. Right down the hall from Mrs. Turner's classroom, it was a fifth grade classroom. Fifth grade classroom taught by a woman by the name of Mrs. Pressley. Now, I didn't know much about Miss Pressley. I just knew that, you know, from what I heard, that she was a very strict teacher with her students. And that's all I knew about her. I mean, she was right down the hall, and I never had any contact with her. One day, I so happened to be in gym playing with my class, and I can't remember if we were fighting or if I was getting ready to fight, but I got into it with some other kid, and it got pretty heated, you know. So all I know is that I was upset. Like back in the day, I had this huge, just diabolical temper, like extremely bad, and I don't know. I just had anger management problems. That's what I always tell myself. I had anger management problems, and I'm glad they're over with. But this time, I was in prime form this day. I was ready to go. So Miss Presley so happened to be going by. She sees what's going on and she comes to break it up. But, I mean, she was just overwhelmingly just surprised and shocked at how angry I was. She says to me, she looks at me and she goes, you're done playing for the day. Come with me. And she takes me by the arm and she walks me towards the classroom. And boy, I was fuming. I was so mad. Like, dog, I was ready to go rip that kid's head off. So when I get to her classroom, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that she had me introduce myself to her class. And after I did that, she told me to sit in the back of the classroom at an empty desk and to just sit there with my head down. So she proceeds, you know, to teach her class, because that's what she was there for. And about 20-25 minutes later, she comes to check on me. She taps at me and she's like, are you okay now? And she smiles. And I was calmed down by now. I was pretty cool. So after I tell her that, you know, she takes me by the hand and she says, you know, my class was out of gym at that time. So she takes me by my hand and she walks me and she says, where's your class? Who's your teacher? I tell her where my classroom is and who my teacher is. And she walks me down, tells my teacher what happens. And, you know, tells me to stay out of trouble and have a good day. It might sound crazy, but I had a reputation for being a hothead, a bad kid, disrespectful, however you want to put it. That was like my reputation amongst the teachers. Like, that's what they knew me as. And I'm not going to necessarily say I was bad, but they labeled me as a bad kid. And that's just how it was. No excuses, he's a bad kid. Fortunately for me, though, Miss Pressley didn't see it that way. So I remember she would stop by my classroom periodically and ask my teacher how I was doing and make sure that I was okay. You know, just whenever she felt like it. And whenever I was in trouble, like when Miss Turner was yelling at me or getting ready to take me down to the office, she would come by. If I was fortunate enough for her to see what was going on or hear what was going on, she would come by and be like, no, don't take him to the office. Let him sit in my classroom with me for a minute. Wait till he calms down. Don't send him to the office. I won't lie. Some days she used to grill me about getting kicked out of class. But I mean, for the most part, she just talked to me. She did, you know, what other teachers wouldn't do. And I was just have a conversation with me and talk back, try to figure out what's going on in my head, you know. Now, I'm not saying that, I mean, just by her talking to me that I stopped getting in trouble, but I stopped getting into as much trouble, you know what I mean? Because to her, for whatever reason, she just refused to believe that I was a bad kid. She just wouldn't believe it. Everyone else said I was a bad kid, and she just didn't want to believe it, you know. She never yelled at me. She wasn't, you know, calling me dumb, saying I was stupid and bad, you know. Like most teachers would do that to me. But her, on the other hand, whenever she saw that I was in trouble or something was wrong, the first question she asked me was, hey, what's wrong? And you know, the fact that she just didn't want to believe and refused to believe that I was a bad kid was all that mattered. I mean, I'm 22 years old now, and I could still remember the conversations that we had and the stories that she used to tell me and the life lessons that she had, you know, to share with me. And I just remember that she was always there for me. Or maybe I just remember her because I thought she was pretty. I don't know. But seriously, viewers, don't underestimate the power that you have to plant positivity into a child's life. Seriously, because I know it's probably plenty of times that I made Miss Pressley frustrated. I'm pretty sure lots of times, because she's always bailing me out and making sure I was okay. And she didn't have to do that. But I appreciate that she did, and that she didn't give up on me. And because of that, I wouldn't know what I know today or be who I am today. And that's all that matters. So Miss Pressley, by any chance you're watching this, or if you're fortunate enough to see this or ever come across this, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to invest in me, and I really appreciate it. It didn't go to waste. To all my viewers out there, thank you for watching. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you guys investing in this right here. I appreciate it, seriously. So be on the lookout for the next installment. It'll be here in another 2 weeks. And thank y'all. See y'all next time.